As a politician, Kerry Chikarovski has seen the wins and losses and highs and lows of life in the public eye. A mother of two and an accomplished lawyer, she made history when she was appointed the leader of the New South Wales Liberal Party and leader of the opposition, the first woman ever to lead a major political party in that state. Then, after losing the election and her position, she moved away from politics to reinvent herself as a public speaker and tireless campaigner for the causes she believes in. If there's one lesson she's learned, it's never to give up, because while success is a great thing to have, it's often the knockbacks you get along the way that teach you much more.
Kids are often worried about failing because other people will know. They're often worried about trying something because other people will know whether they were successful or not. Having been so public in my career, I can actually talk to young people about don't be intimidated by that. Don't be intimidated by what other people might think of you. And in some of the decisions that I've made in my career, which people tried to intimidate me by saying, well, the result will be very public. You know, if you stand for an election and you don't win, then everyone's going to know. That sort of intimidation, that sort of trying to put me down, I think young people can relate to that when I put it in the context, well, you know, put your hand up for school captain, you mightn't win, but at least you'll have had a go. And if you don't put your hand up, you'll never know whether you could have gotten it.
Sometimes the experience of trying teaches you more than you might have thought, even if you don't succeed. You know how to handle setbacks, and you know that next time you won't make the same mistakes.
You can often learn a lot more from failure. How you deal with not being able to achieve something will often teach you a greater lesson than getting something, particularly if something comes easy to you. I've had a few successes and failures in my life. In fact, probably too many failures if you'd like to look at it, but I've always learnt from those. And everything that I've done in my life, particularly where I've had an obstacle in my way, if I've achieved an outcome afterwards, it's been terrific. If it's actually overcome me, that in itself has taught me how to deal with my own sense of not achievement, my own sense of failure. And it's not easy, but at the end of the day, it's probably one of those things which makes you a stronger person.
As a former Assistant Minister of Education and Minister for the Status of Women, Kerry Chikarovski knows the importance of education to students, particularly young women. But even the best education can leave some unprepared for what comes next.
Do I think students are prepared for the outside world when they leave school? Oh, that's a tough call. That's a tough call. I think that it depends very much on the background that they've come from, because a lot of them have very sheltered backgrounds in many ways. They've grown up in areas where they've only mixed with kids who are of their own social group, they've only mixed with families of their own social group, and they get out there and they realise life is very different. I think it's particularly tough for girls. I think girls probably leave school thinking that they can do anything. Sometimes they get a bit of a rude awakening when they realise that there are still obstacles for women, particularly in the workforce. So do I think kids are prepared when they leave school? No, but that's part of the excitement of being a kid, that you can actually leave school and go and discover this wonderful world around us.
Kerry hopes that through her involvement with Step to the Future, she can open students' eyes to even more opportunities around them. Not only will they learn to make the best of their opportunities, she says, but sometimes they'll realise there are potentials out there they'd never even imagined.
One of the most rewarding moments I've had with Step was speaking out in the western suburbs of Sydney. And after I spoke, a group of young Muslim girls came up to me and said to me that they had never thought that a woman could do what I had done, that is, being a female politician. They'd actually never thought that that was something that a girl could aspire to. And I don't think I actually persuaded them that they were going to have a political career on the day, but it certainly opened up their eyes as to what the limits and boundaries that they had imposed on themselves were, and they were suddenly realising that they didn't have to impose those limits and boundaries. And I felt that that was the sort of moment that Step is all about.
Not everyone will follow her footsteps into the political arena, but whatever they do, her message remains the same: never give up.
Now, not everyone's going to be Prime Minister of Australia, not everyone's going to be the star of a basketball team, not everyone's going to be, Nicole Kidman and starring in Hollywood. But what we say to young people is that you can be the best you really think you can be, and don't let people put limits on you.
I mean, there's this expectation that women are going to be 1,000% better. And that's just not fair. I mean, we are going to make mistakes in exactly the same way as the blokes are.
Like, what inspires you to keep on going on?
Because I have this view that whatever gifts you've been given, you've got to use them. And you've got to use them not just for you, you've got to use them for the benefit of the community. Let me tell you, losing is not easy. It hurts, but you can learn as much from it as winning all the time.